Hi, now let's look at this problem together. Now, if 3 raised to the power of x plus 1 plus 3 raised to the power of 1 minus x equals to 10, find x. You are given 3 raised to the power of x plus 1 plus 3 raised to the power of 1 minus x equals to 10. Now, the first thing is to apply a law of indices here. So, this left-hand side will turn to 3 raised to the power of x times 3 raised to the power of 1 plus 3 raised to the power of 1 times 3 raised to the power of minus x equals to 10. Okay, so this turns to 3 raised to the power of x times 3 plus 3 times 1 over 3 raised to the power of x equals to 10. Alright? So now the next thing now is to make an assumption. Say let's y to be equals to 3 raised to the power of x. So if you have that, so that means this equation turns to 3 raised to the power of x, which is the same thing as y. That's going to be y times 3. Okay, can you see that? So y times 3 plus 3 times 1 over y. Okay, this is y equals to 10. Now the next thing is to multiply through by the LCM of the denominator. That is y. You multiply through by y. So when you multiply this by y, you have 3y squared. Okay? So when you multiply this by y will cancel y, so you'll be left with what? 3 equals to. Now multiply this by y, you have 10y. Okay? So you have 3y squared minus 10y plus 3 equals to 0. Now this is a quadratic equation, so we are going to solve. So what we want to do now is we want to split this minus 10y into two parts. So the method is you look for the sum and product. Now the product is the coefficient of y squared here, which is 3. You multiply with this, that is 3. Product is 9. 3 times 3 is 9. While the sum is the coefficient of y, that's minus 10. So now you look for two numbers such that when you multiply together you have 9, and when you add together you have minus 10. The two numbers are minus 1 and minus 9. You see, when I multiply minus 1 and minus 9 together, I have plus 9. And when you add together, you have minus 10. So now this turns to 3y squared minus 1y minus 9y. Okay, this is the same thing as minus 10y. So plus 3 equals to 0. Right? So now let's look at the first pair here. You look for the common factor. Now the common factor is y. So when you divide 3y squared by y, you have 3y. Divide this by y, you have minus 1. Okay, so the common factor here is minus 3. You have minus 3. When you divide this by minus 3, you have 3y. Divide 3 by minus 3, you have minus 1 equals to 0. Right? So the common factor here is 3y minus 1. So you have 3y minus 1. So you are left with y minus 3 equals to 0. Okay? Two terms are multiplying each other to have 0. So it's either the first is 0, this 3y minus 1 is 0, or y minus 3 is 0. Okay? So now we have 3y equals to 1 or y equals to 3. So you have y equals to, when you divide both sides by 3, you have 1 over 3 or y equals to 3. And don't forget, y is 3 raised to the power of x. So you substitute that here. So you have 3 raised to the power of x equals to 1 over 3. 1 over 3 in index form is 3 raised to the power of minus 1 or y is 3 raised to the power of x equals to 3. 3 is the same thing as 3 over 1. So since the base are equal, so you equate the powers. So therefore, x equals to -1 or x equals to, now we have the base being equal, so that means the power 2 will be equal. So x equals to what? 1. So these are the values for this equation. Thanks for watching.